It's your girl, Hope, your TV movie bestie, and I watch good shit. And I just got done watching this week's episode of Sugar. Now, Sugar just keeps getting better and better each week, and I love it. So we open with Sugar telling us the number one rules the alien have, which is do not kill. We see the cop who was following G the night he stole the pills from the hospital. And we actually see what happens to G from the security footage. Remember, he didn't do what we thought he would do, and he was just running around. We weren't sure where he was, why he was doing whatever he was doing. So we get to see that at the beginning of this episode. G runs into police after he has stolen these pills. So every floor he goes to, there's police just roaming around. And so he's trying to hide. That's how he ends up in the patient Chewy's room. He's just hiding. He's in Chewy's room, and Chewy is reaching for something, and he has all these tubes hooked up to him. G is like, what did I get myself into? And so he's like, okay, what do you want? Your phone? But before he can get to Chewy to give him whatever it is he's trying to reach, here comes Ray, the cop, in the room. And so G goes and hides. And Ray, he unhooks Chewy's breathing tube. He just stands there and waits till he dies. Meanwhile, G is watching this whole thing in horror. And then Ray hears him and he's like, what? So he opens the closet and there's G. He takes the pills from G. He's like, okay. So he hands them back to him, and then he pulls out his phone and he takes a picture of G and he says, run. And that's exactly what G does. So Ray and another cop, they're down at the station. They're questioning Sugar about all that happened with Guapo while he was there. They decide to let Sugar go. But before he goes, Ray said, can I talk to you for a moment alone? So his cop leaves. It's just Sugar and Ray. That's funny. Sugar Ray. Ray asked him how he ID'd him. And so Sugar says, oh, I remembered your voice. I saw you on the CCTV footage. Sugar has now figured out that Ray killed Chewy and that G saw him do it. And that's why Ray is after G. Why did you kill Chewy? Is this about fire sale? Is this has to do with drugs? And Ray's like, you know what? An hour ago, somebody called and said to leave you alone. Who was that? And he said, so I guess that's good for you, but bad for your boy G, because don't nobody care about him. He's just a drug dealer and an addict. So Sugar says, well, I'm going to keep doing my job. I'm going to keep looking for G. We ain't got nothing to talk about. Ray's like, yeah, you're right. But G has a limited amount of time. I don't know exactly where he is right now, but I know where he's going to be. Sugar leaves. Sugar gets home and he starts checking his cameras because something about the room feels off. He look at his video footage. Guess who he sees? Charlotte. Now, remember, I told you something going on with Charlotte. I don't know what it is. I don't know if we can yet trust Charlotte or not. Maybe she's an alien. I don't know, but something going on with her. She at the hotel too much. She's around Sugar too much. Something up. Sugar's like, He goes downstairs to the restaurant. Of course, there's Charlotte. She's with some partners. She's having some drinks. And he just confronts her. And he says, so you was in my room? And she said, excuse me. So she goes over, talks with Sugar privately. What are you talking about? And he said, I know you were in my room today. You broke in. What kind of game you running? What you up to? And she said, what? And he said, I have cameras in my room. I know. And she said, okay, look, I didn't break in. The housekeeper let me in. And I was trying to leave you a flirty little note, but no, thank you, asshole. And he's just like, what? And she said, yeah, go look for the note if you don't believe me. So he goes back up to his room and he finds the note. And he's like, oops. Back at the police station, Ray has Sugar checked out. And unfortunately, these little dirty cops, they can't find much on Sugar. And I said, well, I guess that's because he's alien. They're like, what should we do? And Ray says, well, let's don't do anything for right now. Let's just wait. So Ray goes and visits Hannah McDaniels. Now, remember, Hannah is the nurse who G knew who let him steal the pills. Ray said, I want to talk to you about your coworker, or my bad, your ex-coworker. And she said, what? And he said, the nurse that you used to work with, she got fired because there was something about her stealing narcotics. She says that someone stole her key card and set her up, but either way, they fired her. Hannah's like, oh shit, is he about to ask about my involvement? Am I about to lose my job? Ray's like, look, I don't care about them drugs. I'm here for another related matter. I'm here about G. Do you know where G is? Because we think that G witnessed a gang-related homicide and a lot of bad people are after him. And she said, oh, yeah, I heard about this. She said, he told me something about that. And he said, oh, well, what did he tell you? And she said, well, nothing, just that some bad people are after him and he's on the run. Ray says, look, if you know where he is or if you can get in touch with him, you should, because I want to help him. I want to protect him. You're the police. Yeah, you'd actually be doing G a favor if you let me know where he is so I can help him. Meanwhile, Val is following Hannah and Sugar calls her. He's like, what are you doing? And she said, following Hannah. And he said, okay, good. But I just feel like we're missing something here. So he goes to Danny's house and Danny's worried about G. He's worried about his meeting. He has a meeting with the fighter guy from Vegas. Danny is just like, I got something to tell you, Sugar. And he said, you know that guy who was at the club with G the other day? Well, I do know who he is. And Sugar's like, what? That was 2 days ago. Why didn't you tell me? And he said, I don't know. All I know is his name is Tyler. He stays over here with his dad. Sugar is like, Danny, really bad people are after G. And I promise you, if this guy finds him before I find him, he's going to kill him. Danny's like, well, let him. He's killing himself anyways. He don't care about himself. If he did die, at least I wouldn't have to worry about him no more. So Sugar's like, okay, I'm going to go try to find this guy. Danny, he goes, he meets with the boxing people from Vegas, and some guys behind him are talking shit, and he get in a fight with them right in the middle of this nice restaurant. And I said, Danny, but I guess that's good for business. This man wanted him to fight, and he ready to fight, obviously. Sugar shows up at Tyler's house, and the people at Tyler's house are like, oh, he's not here, but he'll be back soon. Sugar says, oh, he's with G? And they say, yeah. And they say, you can sit down and wait for him if you want. So Sugar sits and he starts thinking about previous conversations. And then he's like, I think I know where G is. He gets up, he leaves. Val has followed Hannah to the Beverly Center. Hannah done made a deal with the police to do a drug deal meetup with G, that the police will let him go and they'll take it from there and they'll protect him. She meets up with G, they do the deal. She's like, where are the cops? Because nobody showed up. So they call her and they're like, good job, Hannah. You did exactly what we needed to. Your job is over. We'll take it from here. And she's like, okay. Sugar shows up to the Beverly Center. He meets up with Val because Val lost Hannah, because it's not hard to lose somebody in the Beverly Center. Val's like, oh my gosh, I thought there was going to be like a shootout. And Sugar says, no, not in the mall. That's too public. They'd have to explain too much. So we got to figure out where G's going now. He starts looking around and he's just thinking. He sees this picture and he gets an idea. I know where G is. Val, keep your phone on you. So he calls up Danny and he's like, hey, G said once all this is over that he was going to go to the desert. And on your refrigerator, there's a picture of you and G in the desert. Where's that picture at? Danny says that's at the Mojave. And he says, okay, can you send me the coordinates? Because I think that's where G is. Sugar goes out to the Mojave. He arrives to a small trailer. He sees a car in the yard, so he starts checking it for trackers. He finds it. He goes inside and he finds G passed out on the couch. Tyler is also there. He comes out and Tyler's like, whoa, I don't want no smoke, because Sugar has taken his gun that was just laying on the table. Sugar's like, look, I'm not the one you got to worry about, but the one you do got to worry about is on the way here. So we got to get G up out of here. So they start getting him up, trying to move him. And then Sugar hears something. And he says, oh, wait a minute. So he looks out the window and in the far distance, he sees headlights, cars. And he's like, oh, we don't have time. Tyler, you go hide in the desert. Wait 15 minutes. If I don't come out and call out to you, then get up quietly and run. And Tyler's just like, Okay. Sugar, he gets his car, he gets his gun, and then he gets back in. G still passed out. So instead of trying to move him or hide him or get rid of him, Sugar gets an idea. He's going to make it look like OD. So he takes one of the syringes on the table, he shoots it in G's arm, he goes and he hides. Ray and his homies, they come on in, they think exactly what Sugar wants them to think. They think he OD, and they're like, what? We ain't even got to do nothing. He just killed himself. This is great. Ray's like, but then y'all say somebody was with where he at? And they're like, so Ray says, look around. So they look, they don't see nobody. And they're like, nobody's here. Ray's like, so what happened to that person that was with him? And they're like, who knows? Maybe he dropped him off, whatever. This is easy. Now we don't have to kill anybody. We don't have to hide a body. We good. Ray's like, turns out Sugar actually did ODG. He really put drugs in him because he didn't want him to wake up while the police were there. That would have been the worst problem. So he only has 3 minutes before G will really OD. Time is ticking while they looking around, all this stuff. So finally, Ray is like, all right, I think we good. Get the cash, get the tracker off the car, and let's go. So they do, they leave. Sugar runs over to G. He starts doing compressions on him. He's trying to save him. It is not looking good. G is just unresponsive, not moving at all. Sugar's just steady pumping. He's like, come on, wake up. And then I thought back to the beginning of the episode when Sugar told us that the #1 rule is don't kill. And I thought, oh my gosh, was this foreshadowment that now G is going to die? Because after all this, he's still going to die? Y'all, I was sick. Sugar just still going. And finally, after way too much suspense, here goes G. And I said, oh, Lord. And the episode goes on. Y'all, I'm like, what is happening? The bad guys think G is dead, which is great. But G's not really dead. So what's the plan now? Because obviously he can't just start walking around LA. And where's he gonna go? He ain't really got no money. He don't really have a game plan. He's still very much on drugs. So, and then what about Danny? Danny seems to be doing really well with this boxing. He enjoys it. He's good at it. Are him and G just gonna part ways? And then Danny's just gonna say whatever to my brother? Because I'm sure he's still gonna worry about him. What's gonna happen here? And then what if the cops and them find out G is not really dead? They definitely not gonna just, oh, well, he's gone. Like, what's the plan? And then what's really going on with Charlotte? I've been saying something suspicious about her, and I still don't know what that is, but I'm very curious. So we are halfway through this season, and yeah, it's just getting better and better. So are y'all watching this show? Let me know what you think of this week's episode or the show in general. Get into these comments. I'm your TV movie bestie. I'm on all the socials. Like, subscribe, and follow, and I will see y'all on the next show on the next episode. Bye, besties.